Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be playing the airport security deck in Clash Royale, where we can only use the cards that would be able to make it through airport security. And this was a lot harder than I thought it would be because obviously you can't bring a weapon onto a plane, so we can't use any cards with swords or knives or daggers or explosives. And obviously you can't bring a building onto a plane or a spell, so we could essentially only use troops that didn't have weapons, pretty much only single unit troops. So these are all the cards that could make it through airport security. We have the giant, the monk, all the wizards. You can bring a mirror onto a plane. You can bring medicine, and then you can also bring small electronic devices. I think these are the only 8 cards in the game that would be able to go through, because any other card has, a sword or a bomb or a spear or something. You may also notice that wizard could be put in the evolved spot, but because the evolved wizard has a shield of fire, we're not going to be using it because anyone with a ring of fire around them wouldn't be let onto an airplane. So we're going to have to go with the regular wizard, which is, obscure enough to go through security. So I don't think this deck is very good, but we're going to try to win with it anyways. And the message that I wanted to share with you today is it's not gonna be super long, but it's about how important it is to forgive someone when they've wronged us, when they've done something to hurt us. And this is something that I thought of when I watched a YouTube video of an Australian man, and he had 3 kids that were walking on the sidewalk one night, and they were struck and killed by a drunk driver. And anyone in this situation would, have feelings of resentment and hatred towards this person, because having your kids killed is probably one of the worst things that can happen to you. So, you would expect this guy to just feel hatred for the guy that killed his kids, but that's not what he did. He ended up going to the prison where the guy was kept, because he was convicted. He was sent to jail, and the father who lost his kids ended up going to the prison, talking with the guy who killed his kids, having a genuine conversation with him. He forgave him. He had publicly said that he forgave him for what he did. And it just reminded me that there's no excuse to have any resentment towards anyone, because there's not really anything anyone can do to me that would be worse than someone killing your kids. Like, it doesn't make sense for us to feel resentment for somebody gossiping about us or stealing something from us, when there are people that have had people killed. People have had their kids killed, and they still forgive the person that did it. So it was just kind of a reminder that forgiveness is a choice. You can choose to forgive someone no matter how difficult or how horrendous the act that they committed was. And I think the way that we do that is by handing it over to God, because I think it's very hard for us to just get over these feelings on our own. And so I think it's something that we need to pray and ask for. We essentially need to hand over our feelings to Him, because He has love for everybody. He has as Christ-like love for everyone on this earth. So I think we can kind of pray and ask Him to feel some of the love that He has, so that we can feel some of the love for that person for ourselves, I guess. And I think that's the way to do it, is when somebody does something that annoys you or upsets you or hurts you, just praying and giving those negative feelings and the hate that you have for that person, just handing it over to God and trusting that He's gonna serve justice eventually. Because when we retaliate and when we do something to maybe hurt that person back, whether we know it or not, it's sending a message that, we trust ourselves to deliver justice more than we trust God. And it's just a disrespectful thing. And a lot of people don't realize it, but that's kind of the message that we send. So when someone does something to hurt you or upset you, don't just retaliate back at them. Forgive them. Trust that God's going to work things out. And that's all we can do. All we can do is forgive the person that did it. And it'll relieve a burden off of our shoulders as well. Because when we harbor that hate and resentment, it ends up dragging us down as well. So anyway, that's the message I wanted to share with you all. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.